All right, they are here. Finally, got our seat brackets. These are from Planted, which I've been told are absolutely the best, the most stable. They make these to order, and these look absolutely awesome. They're gonna mount right to our seats. I'm gonna set that up now, and we're gonna be able to move our car around finally without kneeling down into the tub of the car. We'll actually have some seats. So stay tuned, this is an exciting part of this drift build. Okay guys, before we get the Planted seat mount set up, I wanted to show you guys the seats that I picked up, because some of you guys may have not seen these yet. I did post them on the community wall. I think I kind of premiered them in a couple of videos, but I was very, very excited when these came in because I wanted to go with something that wasn't very expensive to start, knowing that I'm going to be getting in and out, maybe greasy, beating them up. I didn't want to spend $500-600 per seat, so I found a pair, yes, a pair of these seats for like $212 shipped on eBay. I think I made an offer and they accepted it, and they came in like 5 days. So that was a huge, huge surprise. And the quality is really good. This honestly is like a suede-like material, almost like an Alcantara. I know it's definitely not. You can see it's gonna wear over time. This is definitely like a fake leather, but the look and feel of this, it feels like a very comfortable seat. Does not have crazy side bolsters. I'm just beginning to drift, so I didn't want to go crazy on the side bolsters. I'm not going to go crazy on my roll cage because we are keeping this a low horsepower drift car to start. And the nice thing about this is fully adjustable, so for daily driving, these seats are awesome. They do come with side or slide brackets, which is a rare thing in racing seats, if you know that. And honestly, I would buy these to replace stock seats if I had torn up seats, because for $200 you could easily sell a car or even drive it around knowing that you're not sitting on all beat up, mangled up seats. So I just wanted to show you guys this before we get started, and then I want to talk about the bolts. So I took out all my bolts doing my drift build. I held on to everything, and now that I've got everything set up, these are the bolts that are going to actually go in. They have a little groove right there, and these ones all have a little white mark on them. They look like they have two built-in, a kind of like a split washer and a regular washer. So that's what you're looking for when going to put this bracket in. So this is our Planted bracket. It's very, very heavy, high quality. The welds are very, very nice. I'll show you guys that up close here in a minute. But it's nice and powder coated. These were made to order from what I was told. I got them from Enemy Creations, which is a local shop out here, and they do sell online, and they do match like eBay pricing. So I will link a lot of their stuff so you guys can help them out, support them, even if you're not local. But I picked these up for the same price that Planted was selling them for, and eBay. But they're basically going to mount really nicely. We're about to put these in. I'll show you guys how they line up, and the bolts just go right in, and then we're going to mount our seat up to them. So stay tuned. So our next step is going to be mounting our slider brackets onto our seat. Now this is, with this setup, it got a little confusion because the instructions really didn't tell you much. And the boxes weren't labeled for drivers or passenger or left, right, nothing was labeled, and you basically get one of these sliders which allows you to pull that and your slider will go up and down, and then you get your standard one on the other side. That's going to slide without anything, so this basically locks it in. Now there are different mounts than this out there, and you may have bought a different one, so keep in mind the instructions I'm giving you kind of are specific to this actual mount. Now I played around with it and figured there's no way that it could go this direction, so the slider must have to be face down. Now what I mean by that is you got two boxes, so you really have opposite sides. So I had to figure out, okay, well this is going to lay flat on the plate that we bought for the seat. You're going to have this be flat, and so it wouldn't have worked if it was this direction, even if I wanted to put it on that side, etc. So I'm mounting this. What I did was I mocked it up. I want it on the side that I can adjust everything on one side. That'll keep, this is the driver's seat. That's going to keep where I've got my hydro lock and my e-brake. That's going to keep those free, as well as my shifter and everything. I'm not going to be, if I slide my seat up and down, I'm not going to be hitting any of those. It's going to keep that freed up. So I'm going to go ahead, mock this up. Basically it comes with 6mm, these are Allen key bolts. These are going to slide in. Now what you're going to want to do is basically slide your slider get these in, and then you're going to have to mount some bolts by sliding these sliders onto our seat bracket, and I'm going to show you guys how that works out as well too. You're probably going to have to go down to the store and buy some bolts. I'm very fortunate I have a ton of bolts that we pulled out of the car, so I should be able to find some that will work. Okay, so we're going to mount the piece that has the slider rail on it. Now I went ahead and pulled it up so that we could then put this on here. The kit did come with these spacer washers, and I wasn't sure if they were necessary, but after doing this I realized you've got to put your Allen key nut in there like that, and then the washer is going to basically lift this from the seat, and it's going to mount like that. Now it came with 4 nuts and 4 washers, so guys, I went ahead and mounted this up, and I was not happy at all with how wiggly this was. And I want to say that's one of the biggest complaints I've seen on like cheaper seats, is if the seat moves around a lot. That's how you kind of know it's a cheap seat. So I want to fix that, and I think this can work on many other applications as well. So basically, we mounted this in with this spacer on the bottom, but when we tightened it up, it really didn't get that tight because it's just going up against another piece of metal. So what I did was I went down and I picked up some lock washers, and I'm going to toss those on first. Then it goes on the bracket, and then the spacer is going to be tightened up. Now I'm even going one step further, and I'm going to go ahead and put some thread locker on everything we do. One more thing is I went down and I got some other bolts. These are going to be to mount to our planted seat mount, and these are going to slide up under here. And once again, we're going to have a lock washer, and then I got some lock nuts that are going to go into here. And I'll show you guys how that's going to fit in once we get everything put in here. So I'm going to go ahead now, I'm going to get everything thread locked up with those lock washers, and then I'll show you guys in the car how it's going to mount up. And what a difference that actually makes. I mean, they're not even moving now. So highly suggest you guys go ahead and do that if you have similar seats, or if you're having issues with your seat wiggling around. Adding that lock washer and adding that thread locker will make a world of difference. Okay guys, so this next part where we're going to basically mock up our planted seat mount to the seat brackets, you're going to have to go ahead and pick up some bolts. I'm suggesting 1 to 1 1/4 inch. I believe that I picked up 1 1/4 inch. I got some lock washers, and I got some lock nuts. I'm also going to be throwing some thread locker on there to keep it in place. So basically what you're going to do now is you're going to grab your planted seat mount, and this is going to basically lay in the car like so. So you want to mock it up to your seat to make sure the holes will match up. And we are very lucky because all 4 of our holes are going to match right up with the seat bracket. Now if they don't match up, if you're using a different seat or a different seat bracket, it may require you to drill some holes, but they try to put the most common seat configurations on these. So you can see here, I'll move the camera so you guys can see. So if you see here, these holes line up perfectly right here and right up here, and then down here it's gonna basically line up right here and right here, if you guys can see that. So basically right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish mocking this up. I'm gonna mark it with some markers so I know what holes I'm going into, and then we're gonna put this bracket into the car, and then we're gonna mount our seat right onto it. And basically these bolts here are going to slide through this side, going to come through this, and then you're going to attach your nuts. So I'm going to show you guys that in the car. Installing the seat bracket is actually very, very easy. You do have a driver's side and a passenger side, so if you're ordering just one, make sure you order the right side. Now I'm going to go ahead, I already put the bolts in so that I would have them all. So I'm going to take those out. Okay, and I'm just going to mock it up real quick, make sure everything lines up. You've got a bolt that goes in here, 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 and here, so you have 4 total bolts. I am going to throw thread locker on each one of these before installing them. This way we don't get anything rattling loose while driving. And really it's as simple as that. You're just going to bolt these in, tighten them down. Like I said, you have 1 bolt hole that goes in the side there. This is most likely for the seatbelt bracket, I think, if you're going to be running stock seatbelts. And I went ahead and marked where my seat is going to line up. So we'll get these bolted up and I'll grab my seat and then we'll go ahead and mount the seat in. Alright, so I went ahead and grabbed the seat. You want to be careful getting this in here. I just got done painting my door jambs. If you guys haven't seen that video, that just went up a little while ago. But you're basically going to slide this into place. Now I slid the bracket very far forward so I could mount the back parts first. And all I got to do is line up these back holes. I already marked the hole point for each one of these. And now I'm going to go ahead and grab my lock washers and nuts. I'm going to bring you guys around this side so you can see how it mounts in. Hey guys, so you can see how I can easily now access these back holes, which I went ahead and marked with some tape. I'm going to grab my first bolt here, and we're going to throw a little thread locker on it. Okay, a little overkill, but we got the lock washer, which I'm actually going to put on first and then slide the bolt in to our hole right there. Okay, and then we got our lock nut, which will then be secured with that thread locker as well. So after installing the back ones, make sure that you don't over tighten them, because you want to be able to slide this around, but tighten them enough so that you can then slide the entire seat back. The 2 front are going to be way more difficult than the back 2, where right here I'm showing the front facing the door side. So this one's a little bit easier to access, but that last one I'm going to show you here in a second is really, really up in there. You almost have to get underneath your steering wheel area in order to get to it. But if you got different tools, it's not that bad. I'm probably going to be using like a pair of pliers to hold the nut, and underneath it getting a smaller socket wrench up in there. And that one, let me show you real quick, is going to be right up under there. And you can see it's not going to be the easiest to snag, but there are lots of tools out there that can get to it. And I'm sure that if you're installing these seats yourself, you're going to have some tools that can get in there, or you can run up to the store and grab something. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this one up. We're going to go ahead and do that one. Now, of course, one step I did miss is that you want to make sure the seat is in a good position. I've already tested this after mocking it up and putting the 2 bolts in. I sat in it and I was able to move forward and back really nicely, tilt the backrest up and back, and had plenty of room. The one thing that I'm going to be doing is installing a hydro, and I'm thinking I'm going to move the e-brake and kind of put the hydro where the e-brake is and move the e-brake back further, just because I want to keep that so that when I'm parked, I don't have to worry about the car rolling, because the hydro does not lock in like an e-brake. And this is a manual car, so relying on the gears to hold it is not always the best thing. I park on hills and stuff like that all the time, so I want to make sure that I have that capability. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and then I'll show you the final install. I'll show you guys how it goes back and forth and everything. Okay, now you guys can see how easily I can get in. This is honestly a very, very comfortable chair. Now if you want to go slide it forward and back, you just pull that up and it will lock itself into place in a position. See, it is actually going in a lot easier now that I'm sitting in it, whereas when I was trying to slide it by hand, it was harder for me to find a position. But I can be nice and close to the steering wheel, or if I needed to be all the way back, tilt my seat back if I was, let's say, 6 foot plus. I could even adjust the seat bracket back further, but honestly, the quality of these seats, these are very comfortable for daily driving. I really like the size of the bolster on these. I feel like I'm really securely in this. I feel like the seat is not moving around. Everything is nice and secure, so I got to give this at least an 8. The quality of the material is not anywhere near what you're going to get in your $500, $600, $700 seats. But with this type of car, you're going to be getting in and out, greasy, dirty all the time when you're at the track. So why tear up a really expensive seat when you can just replace these every once in a while? So once again, my name's Pete, guys. This is Pete's Carport. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun getting to this point now. The drip build is really starting to come along. I've already got these door jambs painted in the last video. We got everything stripped out. Now we're going to be moving on to the LRB speed stuff. Now that I've got my main seat in there, we can then move on to installing the roll cage. And I've got some awesome seat, some 3-point seat belts that we're going to be putting in there as well. And it's just going to be an ongoing project. Let me know what you guys would like to see in the future or on the next couple of videos. I would love to start bringing the things that you guys want to see in first, and whether it's the LRB speed panels or if you guys want to see me install a roll cage, let me know in the comments. Once again, my name's Pete. This is Pete's Carport, and this is Frank, our SC300 drift build. Have an awesome day, guys.